What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. All right, everybody, check it out, man. Let's talk about James Bond for a little bit. You guys have probably heard the news by now that Amazon has taken over complete creative control of the James Bond franchise from the Broccoli family. The Broccoli family, they still own the franchise, but now they have handed the keys over to Amazon, at least from a creative standpoint. They've handed the keys over, say, hey, guys, it's all yours, all right? Do whatever you want to do with it. And that's where everybody is a little bit nervous about, all right, what's going to happen with this franchise now? That's the big question, you know. Immediately, everybody's mind goes to the Rings of Power, you know, because when they got hold of the Lord of the Rings franchise, we saw what they did with Lord of the Rings, all right? Yeah, and this is what I had posted up, man. I had posted this up. Here's the next announcement Amazon will make. Morphy Clark has been cast as the new 007 Jamie Bond, you know. That's what everybody's mind automatically goes to, all right? That they're going to somehow, look, they've been wanting to make a female Bond or a black James Bond. They've been trying to get that going for a while now, and it seems like Amazon is just the kind of company that will go out there and do that. You know, because of how they have mishandled franchises in the past, specifically Lord of the Rings with the Rings of Power. They haven't done that thing justice at all. And so a lot of people are worried about that, a little nervous about that. I had saw this posted up by Ryan Kennel. He said, no, Mr. Bond, I expect you to DEI. I thought that was absolutely hilarious, man. But then he says this, right? In all seriousness, there have been certainly been missteps with Bond in the Daniel Craig era, but there has also been a certain level of restraint and hesitation to use Bond as some sort of content farm, the way we see so many franchises being used in modern entertainment. This reeks of something that Amazon will want to churn out product with, Moneypenny spinoff, Q spinoff, etc. And it's so funny that he says that, because that is literally what this article right here is discussing. All right. Why Amazon took control of James Bond as the next 007 movie remains in limbo. Let me go ahead and jump into this, because this has a lot to say, and it kind of makes us fear what's coming next. For more than 60 years, one family has determined everything about James Bond, from how he takes his martini, shaken not stirred, to his firearm, Walther PPK, and vehicle, Aston Martin of choice. But on Thursday, a landmark deal with Amazon MGM reshaped the course of cinema's most enduring franchise. Yeah, James Bond's been going on since the 60s, y'all. All right? Over 60 years. I think Dr. No came out in 1962. So we are talking about 63 years of James Bond. All right. It is an absolutely enduring franchise. That is a lot of time. As part of the pact, Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson, the heads of Eon and custodians of all things Bond, have entered into a joint venture with the streaming giant that will see them cede creative control of the property. The announcement, unveiled as the series was at an impasse, has stunned Hollywood, where the Broccoli family had become nearly synonymous with 007 as its creator, Ian Fleming. Now, here's why they're saying Amazon kind of pushed the line and said, yo, give us creative control because you guys are dragging your feet, all right? The Super Spy was last seen in 2021's No Time to Die. That ended with Daniel Craig, who had portrayed, Bond 5 times, all right? And so now everybody's been wondering, who's going to be the next James Bond? They said there's no director, there's no story, there's no script for a new installment, sources say. And without those elements, little progress has been made on finding a new leading man. So everybody's been asking this question. Is it going to be a black James Bond? Is it going to be, Henry Cavill? All right. A lot of people want to see Henry Cavill. It's been a source of frustration at Amazon that spent $8.5 billion to buy MGM 4 years ago, in no small part because of the ties to Bond. They want James Bond content in the worst kind of way. And you normally don't see these kind of wide gaps in James Bond movies. That's just not something that's normal for the franchise. It's only happened a couple of times. I'll show you right here. You can see, like, this was the timeline for James Bond movies. Dr. No came out in 1962, like I said. And if you come all the way down here, the last Sean Connery movie, 1971. And in between that, they made 7 movies. They were cranking them joints out every single year on the regular. All right. And then when you get to Roger Moore, it was pretty much the same thing from 1973 to about 85, in 12 years, 7 more movies. All right. But then look, then we started to see a gap. And this happened because of the switch from Timothy Dalton to Pierce Brosnan. They were trying to figure some things out. It was around the time that the Cold War ended as well. All right. So it's like, all right, just where are we at with James Bond? Are we going to still do Cold War stuff? How are we going to fit this thing in, So you started to get that. That's a 6-year gap, all right? And then when Pierce Brosnan switched out from to Daniel Craig, you got another 4-year gap. And then you had a 6-year gap between Spectre and No Time to Die. And now we're on another 4-year gap, and there's no script and there's no nothing going on. And Amazon's frustrated. So they probably said, hey, look, let's get it cracking. All right, Broccoli family, we need to start making this into some money. Because we spent $8.5 billion to buy MGM, and we didn't do that just so we can not make James Bond movies. Now, here's where this thing is about to go off the rails, all right, with Amazon at the controls. This is where everything is going to fly off the rails and it's going to turn into dog shit. In this fractured media landscape, the whole notion of a franchise has changed to become more expansive. The Broccolis have largely resisted the changing times, focusing almost exclusively on crafting big screen installments that arrive within years of each other and only after an exhaustive development process. With the family stepping back, Amazon and MGM can craft a larger cinematic universe. Do y'all see that? This is what, I guarantee you, this is where this thing is going. The James Bond cinematic universe, all right? One potentially filled with television shows and film spinoffs in the vein of Marvel or Star Wars. They are going to ruin this shit. They are going to Disney-fy it, and they're going to make a whole lot of crap. I guarantee you, look, Variety is already seeing the writing is on the wall. This is what the Broccolis have been resisting. But Amazon's like, oh, hell yeah, man. We can't wait to get our hands on this. All right. We are about to have the Moneypenny spinoff, the Q spinoff. All right. Or like I said, they're probably going to do, you know, Jamie Bond. All right. Bond's little sister is about to join the universe or some shit. It's about to be stupid. You know, look, we all want this guy right here, right? This guy says, dear Amazon, don't overthink it. Henry Cavill is James Bond. Make him James Bond, put him in a movie, drop a movie every couple of years. You're good. You're good, Amazon. You're perfectly fine. And look, Henry Cavill is in the Amazon family, all right, over there doing Warhammer. So just listen, just cast Henry Cavill, put him in a movie every couple of years, you'll be just fine. But like I said, man, they already see it too, all right? They already see it. In a sign of how different Amazon's approach may be, founder Jeff Bezos was crowdsourcing on social media for suggestions of who could play Bond shortly after Thursday's deal was announced. Just make it Henry Cavill and don't do any stupid ass spinoffs. Listen to this guy. You can really reimagine this series. Reimagining. All right? Don't this sound like everything like woke Hollywood? Reimagine it. All right? For a modern era. All right? That's what they want to do. Says Eric Handler, senior media and entertainment analyst at Roth Capital Partners. Now, Amazon can maybe stay on a linear track with the films, but maybe they create a streaming series about Moneypenny or tell an origin story about Q. Did this dude read Ryan Kendall's article or a tweet? It's like, Lee, man, stop giving folks ideas, man. It's like this is where they want to go with it. Do they have Anna de Armas's character from No Time to Die appear in a separate movie? It's all possible. This is what they want to do. They want to do all of these spinoffs. They want to spin off various characters. All right. This is exactly where it's going, you guys. All right. Felix is going to get his own shit. Everything. They're going to spin this thing off and they're going to make multiple series. They're going to have a James Bond cinematic universe. And it's all going to be crossovers that are going to meet up in a movie. And it's going to be some big cinematic universe event. And they're going to destroy the franchise. And yeah, look, the BBC feels the exact same way. They see the writing on the wall, too. Other franchises, which have drastically expanded, perhaps offer some clues about what we can expect from the forthcoming Amazon era of Bond. Lancelot Narayan, James Bond historian, journalist, and filmmaker, told BBC Radio 5 Live a good comparison is George Lucas selling Lucasfilm to Disney in 2012, giving the company control of the Star Wars brand. And how did that work out? How did that work out for him? Star Wars is now dog shit. It's sitting at the bottom of the ocean. Nobody gives a damn about the franchise anymore. The toys are rotting away on the shelves or in landfills because nobody's buying that crap. Skeleton Crew couldn't even chart one time in its entire run on the Nielsen ratings in the top 10. A Star Wars show. This is how bad things are with Star Wars. They're going to do the exact same thing to James Bond. It's going to be exactly like Star Wars. They went off and made that sequel trilogy, and whether you like it or not, it got made rather quickly. He notes there wasn't a 3-year wait between films, but maybe there should have been. Maybe there should have been a 3-year wait between films. Instead of just trying to crank out, oh yeah, we got to get it back. All right, if they had a movie every year, And then what happened? They got to 2019, The Rise of Skywalker, shit the bed, and they said, you know what? Time out, time out. It's going to be the exact same thing. They're going to rush a bunch of crap out there, and then they're going to, oh man, all right, pull it back, pull it back. That's what's going to happen. However, despite the explosion in productivity, there is a feeling that both Marvel and Star Wars have overstretched themselves with their spin-off products. You think? You think? That's exactly what's going on with that franchise. There's way too much content being made, and none of it is good. None of it's good, and they're not taking the time. There's not a 3-year wait, you know, between all of these random projects that Kathleen Kennedy keeps throwing out there. It's just dog shit. Narayan says he believes Star Wars has become creatively redundant since the explosion in productivity. The Star Wars TV series may have been very hit or miss. Andor is fantastic. The Mandalorian is okay. I haven't seen the Skeleton Crew, but there are very disparate creative voices going on there, he notes. So this is the worry. You need the correct creative people to run the show, and that's ultimately where it's going to come to. Who's running Bond? All right. Who is the creative head, the one person with the singular vision for the entire franchise? If it's somebody like Kathleen Kennedy, you're sunk, all right? You're dead in the water if it's somebody like Kathleen Kennedy or Dave Filoni, for that matter, all right? They need to find a somebody that understands the James Bond franchise like nobody else, all right? You need this guy probably, all right? A James Bond historian, all right? You need somebody like that. Somebody that knows the franchise, read all the books. Like, I love James Bond, but I've never read a book, so I couldn't tell you anything about this other than what's in the movies. But I love the movies. I love the movies for what they are. So you got to find somebody that can dig into the history of James Bond and all the various books that nobody's ever read and find and pluck out all the nuggets that are important for this character, you know? And then make audiences fall in love with this character every single time he shows up on film. That's what they need to do. But the last thing they need to do is some Marvel Star Wars shit, because that's absolutely going to destroy it. Similarly, the Marvel Cinematic Universe built on the films by launching a string of Disney Plus shows. The subsequent decline of Marvel's popularity arguably owes much to fan fatigue, something which won't have been helped by the huge number of story strands they have to keep up with. So again, that's why cinematic universes, you can kind of pull them off for a little bit, but eventually they just spiral out of control like Marvel did. And if that's what they're going to do over there at Amazon, this thing is a wash, all right? Look, again, cast Henry Cavill. All right, Amazon, pay attention. Cast Henry Cavill as James Bond. All right, I think he's 40 or 41 years old. Perfect age. Cast him as James Bond. Let him play James Bond for the next, 8, 9 years. Put him in a movie every other year. Easy money. Easy money. Don't do any stupid spinoffs. Every time Henry Cavill shows up, it should be an event. Oh, man, another James Bond movie? Yo, I can't wait, man. What's Henry Cavill doing this time? That's what we want to see, all right? No black James Bond, no woman James, none of that crap, all right? We don't want this, all right? This is the last thing we want. Hell no, all right? The moment you try to spin it off and do a Q prequel or whatever, it's off the rails and it's already doomed, all right? Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Look, I'm just saying, man, you can do this the easy way or the hard way, Amazon. You already have lessons from Lucasfilm and Disney and Marvel. You already see what they've done with their little attempts at a cinematic universe. They've destroyed those properties. Just keep it simple. All right? You guys can't go wrong. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Jump down in the comments. Give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.